Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
Alright, good morning, viewers. This is Gambian Talents TV. Right now, the Minister of Work and Sport, Works and Infrastructure, together with the Vice President, they are on a site visit, going towards some of these places that are flooded due to the heavy downpour throughout yesterday and today. So as you can see, right now, the convoy has just arrived around the traffic light to Senegambia Highway, the Kotu. You can see this is the place that their first place of visit right now. Coming by and coming for the Minister me and go money warning transport la works and infrastructure together with the Vice President. Nyintemel another side visit la dami yaron ko kunung jiol kada dal do mele yaron ko ay floor kada dal do komal baje kanya men ro nyintemel la.
Every year is the same problem, and the reason is that some people are residing on the waterway, and those people, we have asked, the president has asked me to tell the Minister of Local Government to find a site for them which will be demarcated, and we will relocate them from where they are now, so that we don't have this perennial problem all the time. I mean, these measures we should have taken a long time ago, but the president has decided that we take them now. I mean, it cannot be every day. Every year we come to the same place and see the same thing and just dish out rice and oil and that's it. No, there must be a permanent, structural, long-term solution to this. And that is what, you are doing. But also we understand the Minister of the Environment. I don't know if she should be around. Yeah, she can explain that they also have I have a project with with the Holland government, I think, and the World Bank, so that it's the same project. Okay, so we have to move on quickly on that project so that we can clean up this place, because it has, a longitudinal stretch. It's from here all the way to Abuko. So if we are able to allow it to flow and take its natural course, then we will not be experiencing this kind of problems, which are a hindrance to traffic and the movement of goods and people. So you work on that, whereas the Minister of Local Government will work on, demarcating. The minister will work on identifying a site which will be exclusively for those displaced people or people who are living in the quarries or in waterways, and we'll move them over there. So I'm calling on. We have the mayor of KMC is also here, so he will work with the ministry and the environment ministry, so that when we come to relocate, we'll put resources together and move these people out. Because he also has, he's answerable, accountable when it comes to these kinds of things, because the jurisdiction is under his municipality, and he also has to, at the local level, take the leadership on this. And I'm charging him to work with the Minister of Local Government and Environment to make sure that this problem is solved. And that's we also this, and it is not an edifying story for anybody. So I'm sure that these three institutions will work together: local government, environment, the mayor, and the MFO, and then we solve this problem and works also. Yes. Once and for all. So we do. Yeah, well,
after the phase one, this road is part of the roads that will be widened, and also will have a much higher culvert, like a bridge type, that will allow water to pass through here. So that funding is already secured, and when the phase one is completed, this particular stretch all the way to Sting Corner will be part of phase 2. And by that time, this problem would have been resolved. And we hope that when the phase 1 completes in December of this year, phase 2 will immediately kickstart. So that will definitely resolve that problem.
Yeah,
yes,
the National Assembly just,
yes.
I mean, on, I think it was on Thursday,
Yes.
Thursday passed the loan agreement for the phase 2. So we'll work on that, you know, but more importantly also to make sure that we deblock, you know, the canal all the way. And that is the duty of works, the duty of environment, the duty of KMC, and the duty of local government. So they will work together as a team. No, so they are all here and they will take note, and we'll follow it on. I mean, after this, by next week we'll have a meeting and see how best we can go, and then local government will work fast on this. Side for relocation, and KMC, NDMA, Environment Works, and others will put resources together to make sure that those people go. To those places, so that next year this time we don't have this flood. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
And while coming, Minister of Local Government Bijanne, Lands Bijanne, KMC Mayor Talib Ahmed Ben Sudafana Bijanne. We have a lot of them here. Melanco, Doku, Atitano, will come. So, coming the role carrying Jandron, coming after Nyam, Bolajang, Tagan Dual to Damian Kofan, Bajibela, Jefana Kulbenamento.
By the director of NRA to give an indication as to the scope and the nature of the road reconstruction.
Yes. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. As I told you, this is part of the 50-kilometer OIC roads. It is P1. It starts from the highway where we entered in, and it turns left at this junction here all the way to the cemetery, and we connect it back to the main highway. Originally, it was supposed to go between the two cemeteries, the Muslim cemetery and the Christian cemetery, and then exit at the Atlas station on the highway. But because of the nature of the properties and of course the graveyards, we decide to link it to the main entrance here at the graveyard, the main Muslim graveyard. And
when do we hope to start work on this?
All works have already commenced.
No, I mean on this particular road.
On this comment, I will have to confirm with the contractors program to see how best they want to mobilize.
Some of the roads that have also been given right of way already.
Yes,
because as you can see, it's an existing road. The only thing that we have issues here is the supply, the services, water and electricity, and GAMTEL. But what we have done now is we have gone into a direct discussion with the National Army, and they will help us now with the trenching, so that we can fast track the movement of the services from the highway, so that the contractor can start immediately, because that is always the biggest problem. But now at least we have already got that initial discussion with the Army on was it on Wednesday, and hopefully, when we finalize the framework document, we will see movement here on this road for the contractor to start work.
Can we safely say that by next week, by next year, this time, this road will have been?
Oh yes, hopefully even well before the end of this year. Because the actual finishing of the work will be done after the rains, but the trenching for the canal and everything will definitely be done, by say before the middle of this month, August.
Yeah. Actually, if you look at the drainage pattern, the drain is adequate all the way.
It's left. Would it impact on any settlement? If you want to push the drainage all the way to the swamps, would it impact on any settlement? Because we have to be cognizant of that.
Yes, it's already there. If you can see,
it has no impact.
It has only, it's already there.
Okay.
I think all we need to do is to widen it slightly, to increase the capacity somehow, so that it can, carry the. Yeah, but the alignment is already there.
Yeah, Your Excellency, if I can just add, the way it empties, because this is one of the major empty zones in the municipality, but there are a lot of factories settled along that area. So if we could implore on the Ministry of Lands to revoke those allocations, because they are blocking where the water empties through. So every year this place is a major problem, but we do excavate it with NDMA, with the help of NDMA. But now that we have factories settled in the area,
they are established.
They are established, yes.
Oh, they are sitting in the alignment?
Yes.
Okay.
They are sitting on the alignment.
Yes. Some have not built, others have just built walls. Okay. But it's a major area. Maybe the councillor can say that.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much, VP, for coming to our
at Joswang Ibotan is one of the biggest ward. And when you come in time of disaster, the NDMA director is here. It's a prone area because the canal. If you see the canal cannot contain the water anymore. And if you go to this Sankunsila area, these suburbs, every compound of every household of this community, they experience their water. Their foods, everything. You know, since the information I gathered from the community, since yesterday 3 o'clock, they did not sleep. You know, so we are appealing to the relevant authorities. This area, we have sort of new companies that were established here, and the canals, we don't have access to clean those canals. So the water was blocked, and that's why most of the Sankunsila areas, the residents, all of them, they were experiencing serious flooding. And Ibotan Joswang is a vulnerable area when you come in terms of flooding. So we are appealing to the authorities to consider us and mix and even our canals. If you see the canals, the water, you know, this canal cannot contain the water anymore because this canal is more than 25 years. So we are appealing so that, you know, there can be a good canal so that, you know, water will be flowed to the best interest of our community.
Yeah, as part of with our new facilities to allow storm water, you know, to pass through. So that will resolve. Yes.
Just empty land. You know, the president has talked about a second industrial site. Those people can be moved over there so that this will open it up all the way to the swamps. So liaise with local government and you know, NDMA, you know, and also KMC, so that together as a team, you know, you have a joint work, and then you know, the left would know what the right is doing, and then they can be able to deal with that. So whoever the contractor and the consultant is should take note of those things, and you work with local government, I mean, as appropriate. Yeah, please, huh?
Yeah,
and NDMA.
Some of these places are currently a disputed area. On many occasions, the community will come to my office, and then we will mediate between the people who own the site and the community. He's aware of it. At some point, in fact, they even had to come up with cutlasses and wanted to attack whoever goes there. So I think that's something that would actually require.
I think working with KMC, local government working with KMC and the local community could solve the land issue. Land tenure in this country could sometimes be very dicey. It's not a question of politics or ethnicity. It's a question of owning, because the right to land is the sources of all independence. You know, even at the international level. Gambia got its independence. We want to protect our own territorial imperative. That's land. That's the nature of land. So we have to look at that. You know, local government, KMC, and then works and NDMA work together, sort it out, and then, as we said, if we can relocate some industries, we relocate them. If we have to relocate some people, we relocate them. Local government will work on that option. But also, it's a win-win situation. You are relocated, you have a better place, no floods, nothing. But also, the canal flows naturally, and then it does not impact negatively on any neighborhood. So let's work towards that. That's the medium to the long-term strategy of this government. And we need to work as a team to sort it out on the mandate of the executive. Huh? Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, Nteleng Habib MLCC. Kombe yalo nyari Joswang Ibotan. When it comes in time of disaster flooding, we are very vulnerable. So mbekabrin suba ambe yayula, because na information jamale sort of from our substructures. Kaitan di mole ko dulale mojudla jumale flood experience, but particularly jang Sankunsila area. Ni ajibe this area, itolka flood bill sort of. Kabo London kona kada mo sere kunda jiol be kana nyina la andun kanelo nying sainteng wisa jibe no kanelo nying akorotale, because it's more than 30 years or 25 years asiara tele bon be mo be danila, you know, puru ye mako yoro dunga amina nyaadi la wolen ko kamol support in any level. So mbene kato kan ne kadung suol kono ke la problème mo long ndol ha se people representative pour ka je ko ito lafta fengo fe nani la kolya ko na adresse tariata nyamen so dalilo lati nambe yaay kan dulalto so be jambe o yaay la ne information so kono VP ani Lord Mayor, you know, and some of the ministers are coming here pour yena dulal dibe den joyte ke fe wala ten pour ka dulal tandila nin ko explain men yalon ko, because ni nyin kanelo jibe even jamo lebe jantan jamo nyi nyabe wala tan jamo nyi bele fluta mulmon suba salno akono bi, you know. So we are appealing to the authorities. If I say authorities, wolenku NDMA,
office of the vice president aning fanang aning local government pour at times ni be lano allocate la ya allocate mole min ya lon ko be conditional fearful no la ni be conditional fearful wolen ko ka kanelol sin kanelol min ya lon ko wata be access no la because tolla jang nin kanelol man bilde bajale ko will experience serious flooding so nyin dalilo latina we are appealing comme na fo vice president way nyamen pour que dulalta ka ko explain min ya lon ka be kiri jante yeah mo barama nak bot ila domorol tinyata seriously you know dulal be jemeni yalan ko wolman suto sino no you know dulal be jemeni yalan ko ila structural boyta so bari no life was lost so mbe alatendi ko wala bot kol na manke woti kol yaku jamale keta wolman suto sino no wolman ko wolbe ke no so mbe mobe tentula mbe jeyla men yalon ko mbe vice president fana tentula pour ay najam bi anala some of the cabinet ministers anin KMC fana lord mayor mbe mobe tentula wala be jeyla wala but jang joswang ibo town nyanda can consider le back from ka the mouthpiece of the people okay
kono alright comme mbari ngal yaaje nyame nyinte melo don comme minister mi alan ko wala vice president Badara Joof abijane ndum fanan minister mi alan ko wala maring na works la anin infrastructure afana abijane kadabula KMC mayor la Talib Ahmed Bensouda nyinte melo comme ngal yalla nyame be side visit la daldo dami alan ko wolle montoro soto jiyo nyi mel ko wala keta kabrin kunun kana fo bula bila comme albaje kan nyam ndrom nyinte mel la futara nanne atlo mu nyinte ten abe futara dal do dami lan ko fana wolle tiñarol soto wala jiyo tiñarol ko wala to ka futa je kata the extent of the damage o nyinta ka jibe kuma bola je kan ten ndrom alright comme ngala nyam ndron kabitoro be dum kan kono tole kada dal jibe mi lan ko wolle tiñaro soto kuma ala nyamen don nyinte nola mbe futata ba ko tele bi ta kan dal jibe ga mi lan ko jiyo wolle tiña walla jiyo tiñarol ke damel to comme na ala don masakunda ala bundal mi lan ko wolle mari loro la anin kata bula vice president na office wala kata bula KMC la meyo ba o lom dalde mi lan ko itollo masakunda ringti itole mari masakunda ni moltema afana la nyaton ko bijane mi lan ko wala keta Talib Ahmed Bensouda ko alwaje kan nyame ministre Ibrahima Silla fana bijane kana dal to visit mi lan ko tiñaro keta wolle to
You want to take the city officer?
Those.
Of course, it will mitigate, but then another challenge is if you want to widen this place, again, a lot of settlements will also be affected.
Okay.
That's something that that the government has to address, local government has to address. Are you going to demolish it completely, or are you going to relocate them? That's something we need to discuss with local government.
Okay. Where's the mayor?
Vulnerability. You know this.
Yeah.
You know, from the World Bank study,
yeah.
That's why we've taken this place as an investment option. Now, the people settling on the canal, what are we going to do? Are we going to relocate them, or what will happen? That's something that, I keep asking.
Yes, I think, like the Vice President said, there needs to be a relocation plan. And I had him talking with the Ministry of Lands. Because KMC is the most densely populated region, about 5,000 people per square kilometer, where the average in the country is 172. And we are the second smallest region after Banjul. So if everybody wants to come live here, it has to be in an organized fashion. But once the region is full, I think there should be a plan to relocate people and to decentralize the development of the country. So I think we were speaking the other day, and we were saying, how can we encourage people to stay in their villages? How can they have economic activity in their own regions? Because most people living in KM are from outside of KM. They are not original inhabitants. So I think this would help. Also, like you've said, people living in the floodplain areas of Ibo Town, Talinding, etc., those were all settlements that sprung up in the last 10. Difficult to manage waste. It's very difficult on our road infrastructure, on our utilities, because there's just too many people here. And what we see as a new phenomena is people are actually using waste to reclaim land and creating new land and actually selling that land. We see that phenomena around the riverine areas.
Yeah. I think the Minister for Local Government will look at the legislative framework in order to prevent people doing that. And since this is an infrastructural issue also, the Minister for Transport, they will have to look at things in a more holistic manner in the medium to the long term, how to address this issue. These kinds of, it has to be a one-stop shop issue where both the municipality, local government, infrastructure, environment come together, as I said earlier on, and address this issue. Because the president is concerned about these kinds of things. He doesn't want, these kinds of issues, recurring themselves. Government must find a long-term solution to that. And that's why we are all out today to look to see for ourselves so that when we go back to the planning desk, we are able to plan holistically, comprehensively, and in a coordinated manner so that we have a comprehensive, lasting solution and sustainable solution to these kinds of issues. There's the issue of waste, there's the issue of water blockage, there's the issue of wrongful settlement. All those things coming together would need a more combined effort so that we are able to find the panacea to this kind of issue. Yes.
This has already been costed, and you remember during your trip to India, a facility has already been submitted to the Indian government for funding. Hopefully, we believe if that funding is secured, we would start the work as soon as possible for the canalization of the entire Greater Banjul area, because that is one of the biggest solutions to some of these problems, where in every part of the region here, including parts of West Coast, especially in the Brusubis, going all the way to the Sukutas, Nema Kunku, and some of the affected communities that we have seen been seriously affected in yesterday's rains. Those areas are were all surveyed. Feasibility has already been completed and the project is costed. So we hope and pray that this facility is available as quickly as possible.
Maybe you can index these things into a long-term plan.
But just after 1 week, the entire place returned back to the same status. I think we read also positive attitude from people. We cannot have resources to do one thing all around the same again and again. But we are not also running from our responsibilities. Based on the recently concluded sustainable waste management dialogue, hopefully in a very short time we'll come up with a sustainable waste management strategy. But it will surely need the support of everybody. We cannot keep cleaning the same thing, the same place every day, and it comes back to be the same. I know that KMC is collecting waste just for $10, and yet people are not ready even to pay that $10. And it is not free. It has to go with a cost, because they will have fuel, they will have people that they will employ to pay. So people have to also respond. $10 is very small compared to getting your environment clean, and also, of course, all our environment clean and also healthy. I think we also have to do our part as citizens of this country. It's not only one point, it's all of us together. Even if government wants to create a very good drainage system here, and if people are not ready to respond to that standard development plan, it cannot work. Because some of these drainage have been blocked by this waste. And it is us who are putting it there, it's not natural. I think whatever we are having, as little as it is, if it was not intruded by human's attitude, we would not have experienced such kind of big disaster that we are seeing. Some of these things are man-made. It is us who are also contributing. But I think all of us together, KMC, disaster management lands, and the Ministry of Environment works, will put heads together and once again come back to make sure that we have a sustainable plan. We have a project that is also the resilient plan, which is going to open up this canal and most likely giving it a better way to the sea or to wherever the water is going to empty. And that's going to happen maybe in the next few years. It's a 5-year project sponsored by the World Bank. That's what we call the WACA project. So we are hopeful that when we change our attitude together, things are going to move in the positive direction, because this climate change is coming with a full force. It's not only the Gambia. Even developed countries are experiencing almost the same even worse scenarios than us. We just informed that in the US about 25 people died so far. It's not what we want, and we are not waiting until we see people dying before we take actions. But let's change our attitude together.
We are going to closely look at the settlement pattern, Your Excellency. The settlement pattern of people is very erratic. People want to settle everywhere on planned situations of building structures and so on. But we've been working with the physical planning, particularly on this route of water. We need to look at it very critically and to avoid people settling on waterways. Blocking waterways is going to be devastating to our population. And waste management, as the Honorable Minister have mentioned, is key in this. This is a waterway that goes all the way to Abuko, right down to the river, again down by Denton Bridge. So if it is blocked in any way, definitely we have to expect floods. So I think the physical planning, the environment, and KM would definitely work in tandem to make sure we ameliorate this problem once and for all.
Institute a task force that would comprise environment, local government, transport, and so on. And I'll also suggest to him that we index the municipality as they are working with you in that area. Okay, so that this task force now will come and advise, design a medium to the long-term project, program that would solve this issue. We will give you your terms of reference at the level of cabinet. The president will do that, and then you can start working in earnest. And I solicit your cooperation, Lord Mayor, in this area.
Absolutely.
All right.
The councillor just.
Yes, thanks.
And we really, appreciate the teammate as well. Mr. Dava is around, the Lord Mayor, and so on. It's really devastating today within the community of Bakote. Since early morning, around 7 a.m., I was in water around this, and what I've seen here today, I've never seen that situation in Bakote. Inside houses, water is up to your waist. So, though this area used to be prone to fraud, but the situation here today, I've never witnessed it. It has happened here last time, somebody lost his life here, but not to this magnitude. The amount of water we've seen here, and the rainy season, I can say, is just at the beginning. So it's a real threat to the community. How are we going to end up with this rainy season if it is going to continue, if the rainfall is going to continue with this trend? So we're looking forward for support from all angles, from the central government, from the ministry, from the disaster level. Mr. Daba, this is not your first time here. You were here with the then Vice President. We were here. So many things were discussed, and we're still hoping that positive actions will be taken so that, the community can also be at ease. Thank you.
Focus, and then local government and interior and defense will work with the Lord Mayor to see how best we can relocate some people temporarily, so that they also don't sleep underwater or in water. So we will be doing that. The task force will work on that. All right? Okay.
All right, mbadi coming alwaki kanyameng. Nyimu jama ultime yalanko abe bakote la bala comme albaje kanyameng jambe flottale comme albola je kantenye tembe la doro. Kamal baje kanyame ni mudulal de melan ka wartal bara be flood drine be farin jeral tep
tonya mo manfa mango kibaro sot andung ma kala muta ko fo jio fo mo praxin la ka samba but since suba watombe jio konon so korrali membe o environment kadinol bambuke sindi tongol kanke fintindi ke samadula marsewol kono jam fanga doli evacuate na ke natina world so ngalon ko falol dol fata jel men be sitirin ko ma jam fali lulu fata jele bari korrali kono bungol kono moli fengol sikale lo larangol kan larangol fanga fluta sirangol be yanka kan so it's serious
comme mbadi wala mo kansuloti mi alon ko abe bakote jang abe ko mol sen ganga mel alon ko bata ko wala lata mol kan wala jioni wala mol kan mol melalon ko wala be sabatre nyin dinkirata jam be fundila don bita kan la dol fon da me yalan ko tinyaro ni warta wala to ka jibe ko ni be jeenya dile ala baraka bak mbadi han kabi be silo kan ne minister be silo kan ne vice president comme nga fala nyam ndrom be dulal la jibe kam melalon ko je tinyaro ka wala to kumal baje kan nyam ndrom Angoli se muna fono mo la nyina ko to.
Ay bela.
Se muna fono mo.
Jamba. Yana ni ko be diam fulo fana gale ba ko be jang Kenya fana. Okay. Ngam bata ko men so ja wala mu nyin jiboro nyinde. Jiboro nya ay jam fenga ay jam batande bake. Because nyin jiboro nyin silang ni akoro so bake man nyamoli. Wala ka jan sukiten wala ka jan be sukiten. So wala fulo taten kata jan mole nyamol fay silol kan. Iman dulal haynen jana. Oto be kera wala nyam. So yiri juba do fana be je fana jan suki bakala ay jam batande bake. Jan. So kunu uraro la ngo bondi je. Para jiboro nata sambal straight one. Hade.
Maniti ja moment sino. Dole la dimba e fanga bonde kata le nebo so dole ake dungo sambaje. Puka di nungo save ni jio na telefo jang. Mo la bungo kono fo almoro ni fengol be kasigata 7 years bija ni jisi fa ne masu. Ngalo na ko jio siata ndi samaya kuma sele. Ameta jio meta pusala ba ni nyonga ne masu to ja. So pour masakunda fana e mako ndi to man dula so to ngajane so. Anu ni na dimba ya te fintu no la kata dula do kata nebo so bi jaman man tabiro. Ngana sinkirol be le pak nin tata nasu kono ya na fengol be jadula man sot jamu na bitukol tam ko ya jakata nyama na baga so be le tinyata ni kita ye bojana yana ja fana do ko furi jol be le ka fulo mano jile be ni kinta na 6 kilo be le te so akata ni tinya jamata manke nte da mati community be le jam do be je bi tabiro make ya jio ni amo be tabiro kala tabiro dula so te ba dam so ni e mako ni silo fana bi ya da na faso to ne jan bari comme Dieu la siale bini mano na tanto fana ji ka kuntu ni na dinu kata karambungo to ja aka kolyambul babi ni mano de da sai dinu kata mino bijo to le kata school to ba kunun Dieu men kata atamita o ma sakunda le ndema ni se ni Dieu ji silo ni abule nyata pipe de da e nyata pipe kala de Dieu be tambidula so to la dam.
Why the rain was falling, you know, none of us can rest here. The whole place there is water. We are just managed. They tell me to talk. They are just managed. Yeah. Since yesterday, right from the morning time, none of us can rest here. All the house, there is water here. All our materials, everything spoiled. We cannot sleep since yesterday night up to now. Please, I just want to beg. Maybe they can help us to see what they can do, you know, so that all this thing can be over. That's only my own opinion.
So what kind of help do you need?
Maybe they can help us to make a greenage here, because since they make this road, the water was disturbing. The water cannot go. You understand? The water cannot go. And they have been saying that they are coming to do 1 or 2 things here, but nothing. You understand? Last year is manageable, but this year is worse. Then I don't know what is going to happen next year if you continue in this situation. Please.
Free exercise. And
Yes.
yet still what we've seen, meaning what the experts are saying, climate change is real.
Climate change is here because the exercise, like I said, we do it every year since 2018. But this year we've done more than we've ever done. We know that if we did not do those exercises, we would have seen worse because we see the water is flowing, but in many instances it's just too much, meaning the people settled in many areas are blocking waterways. We also see that the capacity of canals have been exhausted and water is overflowing. But we also want to remind people that the community has to also do their part. They have to make sure they don't indiscriminately dump in gutters and the riverine area, and also not to illegally settle, because if you settle where water is supposed to exit, you're also going to have flooding. So we had the VP talk to the Ministry of Lands to look at resettling many people, to look at creating affordable housing that I have advocated for many years, so people can live in safe areas that are well planned.
The Department of the Weather Forecast, they give prior to the rainy season that there will be a flood will be expected in most part of the country.
Yes.
Also, is this a surprise to you?
We expected there to be flooding, but not to this extent, and certainly not this early. Like we said, we did the exercises we could, but we have seen that we have an issue of poor planning across, let's say, the country, especially the greater Banjul area, where the population is so much in such a small landmass. So definitely the amount of rain so early is unexpected. And we think partly is resulting to climate change. But we have to look to the future now, and we have to build long-term plans and find the necessary capital to invest in those plans.
And according to the weather forecast, this year we expect long rain than it used to happen before?
I think the mayor is, I just want to compliment what the mayor is saying. I was just, whilst the mayor was on the interview, I was discussing with the technicians, this is part of the World Bank projects. And that's why the canal is part of the World Bank project. And I was just telling the Minister of Local Government, the President said we must come with a resettlement scheme. That's the only solution. It's difficult, it's not going to be an easy decision, but we have to take that decision. That's what he said. This canal, we will have to widen and deepen to allow the water to flow out. And then those people who are sitting exactly on the waterway will have to be relocated. So they are now being mandated to look for a site which they will demarcate, and we will look at these people, move them over, and then give them a package to resettle them. Because it's not only giving them land, but we also have to give them a package to resettle them. So government has to set up a task force, and that's what he said. At the next cabinet meeting, the president will set up the task force, and we will co-op KMC as part of the task force and Birkama Area Council. All those councils that are affected will be co-opted as part of the task force. Then we'll work it out and resettle people so that this is settled once and for all. Or every year, we will be here talking about the same solution. It's a perennial problem, it's a difficult problem, but we have to take a difficult decision in the medium to the long term, or else we will never solve this problem. And the president is determined to take this decision, the government is determined to take this decision, the municipality is determined to take this decision. Collectively, we will take this decision and sort it out once and for all. I hope in the next 2-3 years, we will not come back here and visiting these things. So that by that time we would have resettled the people into this. Okay? Thank you very much.
All right, han kabidorong be juber killing nyala comme yal baje ka nyamenteng ni fanam dal damian ko senteng minister na la molu wala vice president.
Seriously affected. As you can see, if you go closer to the bridge where we were, the waterway is very narrow because you have houses that have already been settled on the waterway. But thank God, as you have said, the government is looking very seriously at options to move people that have settled on the waterway to actually, take them to areas that at least are dry land areas. And then, we can properly dredge. Two things we are going to do. It's part of the World Bank project, to dredge this particular canal, but also to widen it so that we will really solve this perennial problem in this particular area. But really it's a big problem. Even if we have a solution right now, one of the options would be to really pull down these houses that have settled on the waterway. And the country is developing the way we are doing the roads. If we have the canals, they have to be emptied somewhere. The drainage, they have to be emptied somewhere. And we cannot empty them in this narrow stretch. That will cause even a much bigger problem. Yeah.
I think, as I said, the president is looking at certain options. And one option is a resettlement option, where local government will be charged with establishing layouts for these people. We will have to take an inventory, a census of all these places that would have to inform a cabinet decision so that we know whether it is 2,000 or 3,000 compounds that are affected. And then local government will provide the layouts for them. It doesn't have to be where they want it. It has to be where the land is available. And then we will also find a way of resettling them in terms of not only giving them the land, but also providing the shelter for them. And as I said, this is not only a government effort, it will be a government effort, a local government effort. The councils have to be part of it, because they are also in charge of local issues, local initiatives, and people pay taxes. So they and the central government, together with some development partners, we will have to come together and see how best we can settle this for in the long term and in the medium to the long term. In the short term, NDMA will provide relief and other philanthropic organizations which NDMA will coordinate, But then the most important thing is to find them a permanent shelter that is not flood-prone, that is not, affected by structural defects like these things. So we'll have to work on that in the long term. But for now, NDMA will have to, work with others to provide short-term relief. Medium term, local government will find the layouts and will do that. We understand that there have been some victims in this. Thank God there are no deaths so far, but we are sorry. And on behalf of the president, I want to extend his solidarity and concern for those victims, and he's saying sorry about those things. And that's why our government wants to find a long-term solution to these things so that these things become a thing of the past. We'll tell the governor to extend the president's sympathy with those victims, and also he's in solidarity with them and wish them speedy recovery. We understand a child is involved, and we hope the child gets better very soon. It's just, I understand a shoulder problem, and we are in sympathy with the family. And I'm sure we will provide the necessary relief through NDMA and the governor's office as appropriate. Thank you very much.
Am 7 years nufi waaye ndox bu musa last year August tamit yaaxu bi leen fi am this year tamit gis nga li xam nga li yaaxa la suñ diwlin yaa ngi yëpp nekk na ndox suñ nen yëpp yàqu na suñ kër yi di bi turi ko ak nelawuñ nga jóge sa kër mu yaaxu nga ñëw bitig bi tam yëpp mu yaaxu li nekku yaa ministre bi foog naa am na leneen lu war a wax daal ñu jël maalam ñu toog ko tuura biiram bu rëy boobu xanaa moo ko lekka xam nga loolu rafetut xoolal li xoolal maalam bi léegi lii naka leen koy def ay juus bi la wax soo lii dafa métti nguur gi dañu war a dimbale ñu defi paay boo xam ne bu ndox bu ñëwee dafa am yoon ni arrangé na ñeneen ñi tali bi léegi am na waaye léegi ñu dëkkee boor boobu noonu arrangé wu ñu di liggéey bi baaxul yàqu nañ fi yu bari bi ma ne depuis ñetti waxtu kenn nelawul xoolal li yaaxala lii léegi doo ko mën a def dara yaa ngi dégg xanaa nga may ko néeg yaa ngi fees ak ndox
te kono muru mon bamun kan ning vice president ni minister dol kad la dol jibe mu yalon ko mantoro ni sama mantoro ni e woleke vele yuna jang alsaje cameramano ba findi ndiga nyamen silo ni mu yalon ko wole chokita yuna ning labakore tema mba wole do ten sama kunun sama ni e toro mun ke hansa e wole muru ona.
Because I understand it was given to Gunworks. Can you give me audience, please? It was given to Gunworks, and my understanding is that Brikama Area Council paid their counterpart contribution of 5 million. I'm not sure why Gunworks has not completed this. We will engage the management of Gunworks, and then we'll understand what are the issues that led to the incompletion here, because this is a serious problem. It's not a simple problem. You can see that it has sort of delinked the two communities, Yuna and Mariamakunda. But more importantly, if Yuna does not have an alternative route, to the Yuna people through either Tanje or Brufut or others, it means they'll be marooned here for a long time until these things this place is sorted out, But tomorrow we'll call Gunworks to the office, and then they will have to explain to us what happened, and we'll also have to send them here, and we'll see how best we can salvage the situation. This is a concern for both the president and for the government, and also I'm sure for the local council. As I said, throughout the tour, the president has been concerned. That's why first thing in the morning, he set up this task force to come and sort out, look at these things. But this continue on like this. Local government minister, if I can have you close, because it is part of local government policy that councils make a contribution, a counterpart contribution to Gunworks. and then GAMWorks, brings the other, funding envelope, and then they are able to address these things. So this is clearly in this, stressed squarely in your ministry's domain, and I want you to address that with GAMWorks and Brikama Area Council on the mandate of the president. The president would like that, and I myself would report personally to the president on this, and I also think that we will escalate it, where we will call GAMWorks to the office tomorrow, and you will be present, and we'll ask them the reason for this. Because if this was something that was commissioned for them to start before the rains, by now they should have completed it, or should have factored an alternative, bearing in mind that when the rains come, it would result to something like this, so that there's an alternative route for the Yuna people and the Mariama Kunda people in terms of, communicating, but more importantly for the Yuna people. This is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. We have to take our responsibilities here, This Maslaha business has to go out, or Badin Yakarasi issue has to go out. Things have to be tackled squarely, on their heads, They occupy positions. Some people are sitting down. They are very comfortable, but you can see the communities here being affected. So we have to sort out this problem quickly. Okay? All right. So thank you.
Then the vice president speaking, saying that this is not accepted, and then tomorrow they will hold a meeting to make sure that these situations will not repeat themselves.
talal fo ba kono no bar fenna kale
sabiri wati jumatol be nyin kole ya pool photo kanja
min ka birin somanda juno alias 7 o'clock
nombe min na sanji jelu ni same problem al kam
well wosiatale ama president fango e jan cross le na mame just last year kata banya ka moro ya yeah president janjele même problème ko na manke bi sanji jama do kon
un demar kusivala
well nyin kay mom min bije because ko nyala jero nya male ka fanya dile silo kay do ko rakino that's all ajibe mano danta dame ni be sukta e camera fo nyi mano nakitale way samantar laro centre moto de ka moto jele sangara so mano danta dame evident ndaka do ko ke suktal bon nin jita mano danta dame ka jiwol to ngata manan singola hanata samabe busaka yeah so
hey, everywhere is flooded.
So this is
yeah,
Minister for local. Is there, sir?
Honorable sir. Yes. So this is the.
This is not part of the estate.
This is not an estate. This is a layout.
Layout is an
Yes.
government layout. I think. Yes. We'll find out. This is on phase 2.
Yes.
They're talking about. Yes, we've seen this. These are legal constructions. I'm sure they don't even have permits to do so.
What you do is whoever owns it, and those people who are on the waterway, issue them with a fiscal planning injunction. Let them stop, and then you have the mandate. Your ministry has the mandate to demolish those things. All right? This cannot be given to anybody to build on the water. These are the things that are causing problems. Yes.
If we did not knock that wall,
yeah, you would have had problems over there.
Serious problem.
Yeah.
You can see because the wall is gone. That's why you can see the wall is gone.
Yes, but you see where it is going. There is a wall behind there that is still holding. I have a video of that. This was all submerged this morning. You couldn't see these iron rods here this morning. They are all under the water.
Just, Minister, call your team. Make sure that whoever is developing here, bring them in and serve them with a demolition notice. And you do it before the rains go further. Because if they continue like this in earnest, and these things are here, it will worsen the situation. You have the legal mandate, So, on the basis of your, legal, fear, make sure that this is done, Before the end of the week, I think maybe by Friday or so, I would want to come here with you and your team, and I don't want to find these things here. The president would not want to find these things here, and he wouldn't be happy to find these things here. So we remove all these things and anything that is on the way. That's your mandate. Yeah, we cannot make everybody suffer, yes?
They should not only stop at demolition, but they should completely revoke their allocation. That's what we are advocating for. They should revoke their allocation. That's what we are saying. Yes.
It's part of it. You don't just demolish and the allocation stays, because that means they have a legal holding to it.
Exactly.
So if you revoke the legal holding, then you demolish, then that's it. You know, if at all, I mean, there is some legal issues here, then you can reallocate them somewhere else, all right? But they cannot insist on staying here. No, they cannot insist on staying here. That's no way. You know, we cannot compromise them, all right? Okay. And outlay all these issues so that we don't have these problems, where the waterway, the streets, everything else, you know, and the infrastructure like the water supply system, the electrical supply system, the telephones, and all those things. It's a layout. You know, it's not haphazard. If it is done ad hoc, then you understand that okay, this was it before planning. But it should go with proper planning. You know, and even with proper planning, certain standards have been compromised. That's not acceptable. You know, the president would not like to see this. So let us not make him see this. All right? I mean, you coordinate. You know, it's a lesson.
One problem right in the estate, there is no drainage. There was no planning. What Social Security did was just come and demarcate and sold it. They take no responsibility. Every single person, including our Honorable Minister of Environment, is suffering as we speak.
I mean, we will engage, not only social security. That's why he has put up an embargo on all the estate allocations, you know, for the time being, to ensure proper planning, as we said at the retreats, all right? So whether it's social security or SWAMI or whoever it is, we will have to look at it and make sure that before we approve anything, you know, all these things they are in compliance of all these things. And as I say, let fiscal planning and local government take lead in this. We cannot have people coming from somewhere and just after money and coming to them, giving them places, and then they leave us with these kinds of problems. I said it at the retreat, and I mean it, you know. And I'm glad that the minister has put an embargo on this. We give priority to fiscal planning and the lands. Let them demarcate properly with all those things and allocate to Gambians. No, Gambians cannot afford even the cheapest estate. Let's be honest about this. It's not a question of sentimentality. It's what is on the ground, what is the fact. And we have seen it here. You know? And the president supports that position. And that's the position of the presidency. That's the position of this government. And local government stand firm on this. You have the legal fear to stand firm on this. You know, your local standing provides you with the means, the tools, you know, legal tools to make sure that these things are executed. Thank you.
All right, coming by Albaje can yamen drong be Japan the sign Japan highway. Coming Albaje can Vice President Badara Joof abediam kan coming ave cool for Camila Lonco Secunda and staple mental pour canning ko in Dhaka solve permanently.
Hansa mbana murumurgola mba Japan estate letter kunu samanye toro munke Vice President ni Minister Dolu bataman tawan naka ladol jibe mu yalon ko ñu tora ko lara wala kam algaaji ñamen ika jiola toro jele ay silo ñing kuntu ñame fanam ladol mu yalon ko Jaban estate mo wolo tay fenso dol fanam boyta cameraman o kany mu findin nante
Factors in the future. And exactly that's what happened.
So those story buildings should not have been there.
Their fences should not be there. They backfill even the waterway. Because they knew that they were going to have a problem with water. So they had to raise it up against, you know, our wish, and we suffer.
So it means if they remove the backfill,
yes,
the water would pass.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And nobody would.
No, if they remove, if you go further, you'll see. You can see where the water is coming from. Yeah. You see, the water coming from is coming as far as Old Yundum, as far as Tauto. So it's coming all the way from there. I used to remember when I was a kid, we used to come here and play. So this used to be a big riverbank all the way down to, you know, Tujereng, Madiana and all that. It goes into the sea. But because of the development, and some of the developments, I doubt if they have any formal permit to raise this thing, whether they are inspected when this work was on. So this is what is happening. So year on year we have a little problems, and now it's escalated. Some of us who were in victims of flood, we are victims now.
Where's the Minister for Local Government always?
Abba.
I think, sorry? Communities there, in the school.
Minister is here. Even our mosque is abandoned. Our mosque is abandoned. It's flooded.
Sorry, photos.
Yeah, I think the governor of and the municipality, I want to see them.
Can you call the governor? Governor?
Chairman. And where's the chairman?
Again, one can make the recognition that the areas.
I think, he is explaining that some people did some backfilling and build walls, and therefore it has affected the waterway. All right? So, fiscal planning, whether it's at the level of the governor's office, but also mandated by the ministry, should come and survey this place. And if they are not in compliance with any building permits or any permit to raise anything, they should demolish it and allow the water to move. All right? Because I understand it was well done, but it was a deliberate action by the people. The people also have to understand that you don't only look at your interests. Look at the community's interest, the national interest, the estate's interest. But to say, okay, let me just backfill here, I don't care what happens to others, it's not acceptable. Yeah, so I think the governor, the area council, and you, the ministry should come here when the water subsides, when the water recedes and is accessible. Go there, look at those people who are not in compliance or who are in defiance of whatever exert was given, and then you just break it down. You have the mandate, but just break it down so that nobody suffers. It's not just personal interest. That's selfishness. We have to be honest about these things, and not compromise this. Whoever gave them the permit from anybody, we just revoke it, right? So work with the governor's office, the area council, and you deal with this, because this is on the West Coast region. Yeah, deal with this, because they were not suffering. Now he's telling us that every year it escalates. So in 2 years' time, it will be a problem. Yeah, it will be the same.
We never had it in July.
July, yeah, but now in July you are having it. You might end up having it in May, and if it continues to October, it could be cataclysmic. So let's deal with this. All right? Okay.
It's not twice. We wrote to them. We have, various directors have been engaged, but we've not seen much.
We will call Social Security with the Ministry of Local Government, the Ministry of Works, the Office of the President, all of them, and then we will take a position on this. And it cannot deviate from the fact that we have to demolish those people who are not in compliance. It cannot. Or else it's not social justice. Yeah.
I can just tell you, we are working with Social Security to demolish this place. We brought in surveyors, we did the costing, everything, and we sent it to Social Security. We are yet to receive any response from Social Security.
The institution that is mandated for demolition is always the Ministry of Local Government. And the fiscal planning. Yeah, work with them. Yes, the two work together. Yes, coordinate, complement each other, and then go ahead with it. And if they are not in compliance, there's no need for compensation. So don't waste government resources on compensation for people who are not in compliance. All right? Yeah, or else you set up a dangerous precedent. Anybody can break the law and come and say, compensate me. Okay, all right.
So especially, since in Nyamba, I've been going around from one place to another. So this is a bigger problem. I think we have to sit together with everybody. How are we going to come together to make sure that we come out with a strategic plan? Because even the market is a problem. Anytime we have 50 to 60 millimeter per hour of heavy downpour, I'll be like a submarine. So the level of flood here is just too much. And there are a lot of houses, some of them collapse, especially these mud houses. In the morning, myself, I was in Nyambai trying to help certain dwellers. Seriously. So, but the governor was a living witness. Like you have almost 5 houses that already collapsed here. So, for a strategic plan, excavate, I think the other one, if there is, because I'm also thinking, because the forest is very close to Nyambai, if Nimosa drainage can link into the forest where we can excavate certain areas to be a reservoir. Because forest is closer to Nyambai and even part of Willingarala end. So Joe Belakan at the same bedlam from Daru Hairu, Kabafita, it will pass by, cross this end, come through Nyambai, and Ninjana. So this has been dug. But if you look at the volume of water, Minkana, because this one is just unprecedented. Because it's more than 10 years we don't, because they are saying 130 millimeter per hour, which is just too much. The last 10 years, Nenamani experience. So,
as a community, we need to come together. Like a few kilometers from here, we used to go there to take baths, you know, and all of a sudden, exactly, and all of a sudden they've blocked those ways, and then nothing has been done. So this is definitely
the allocation.
I'm thinking it's just it's probably
it's the community owners. Community owners, they'll sell the land, and you cannot do anything because that place was predominantly occupied by mangoes, and you have a lot of baobabs around. So there's this area called Beredinka, where when we were children, we used to go and take bath. It's Salabato. So, but that place, in fact, even if there is rain, within 2-3 minutes, it's all gone. So those were reservoirs that we are helping. So, but the other problem that we also encounter, the construction of these highways, sometimes they take certain altitude that will really stop the water taking its natural routes. So that's a problem. And they will be constructed without a drainage or an existing culvert or probably an iris crossing. So these are problems. Especially this one linking to Dasilame is a very good road, but it lacks that drainage pattern. I think the drainage is within Olisateba. So away from that, there is no drainage. So you find it difficult. Come to this end, You go from this Jawel to the other Jawel. It's over almost 200 kilometers, almost 100 meters, 100 kilometers. But there is no drainage.
100 meters.
No, a kilometer. A kilometer is more than 100 meters. A kilometer. A kilometer or two at least. But there is no drainage system. We've been complaining. Myself, I was a victim for almost 10 years. I was subjected to a lot of flooding. But eventually, I have to come with a strategy whereby we have to construct a house that is at least 1 meter above water level. But not every individual have that capacity to do. So eventually, all the people in that area suffer. Like the roads are only satisfying the motorists on the detriment of the dwellers. So that is another problem we encounter. Even if you look at the Jamanjeri Road, it's another problem.
Okay, yes. Yes, madam, yes.
From the main junction, the main Jar Oil junction, that is where this drainage should have started. From the main junction, that connects from Kembuje, Dar Hairu Misira, then it connects to that Nyambai junction. That is the one that's not supposed to connect here. But because they said there was a funding gap, instead of 1.8 kilometers, they end up getting 800 meters of the drainage. So now they came inside the middle of the water inlet and non Jambarsane, that is where the inlet starts. So the inlet should have started far beyond that, so that this connection would have gone up to the secondary school junction. So when the drain is constructed up to here, then we have here supposed to be a free canal, an art drain that should empty to the secondary school area. But because of the encroachment that you are speaking about, so the dredging could not continue. But the inlet now,
When you have the balance, can we still do the connection?
Of course.
And there's no encouragement, nothing, no demolition, nothing.
No, but my problem with that.
Just a minute.
even if there were demolition, and that connects to the garage, Birkama garage. From the Birkama garage, Birkama police station, it all connects towards this drainage. So it's a central drainage. If well constructed, it is going to ease the water flow.
In its course, so the Minister of Finance should know what the funding gap is, engage the EU possibly, and see if they can give us that, and other development partners, and of course, also look at our domestic resource envelope, and see how best we can, do that funding, so that at least we start where it should have started to avoid this. That's number one solution. The second phase of the solution is that Minister of Local Government and Minister of Transport should signpost those areas properly to tell people that it's a no-go area, so that people don't come and quickly build on that, and then we have another secondary problem in our hands. The third problem is that at the exit point here, we understand that there are people who have built on that. And I think the governor's office, the Ministry of Local Government, should visit those people together with NDMA and see how best we can relocate them, or else it will still be a problem. You will solve one problem, what you will gain in the roundabouts, you lose in the swings. So we don't want to have that, all right? So finance, engage National Road Authority and NDMA, look at the funding gap, try to address that, and then local government, Brikama Area Council, NDMA, and the governor's office will look at those quarters over there, and then we see how best to relocate them. Okay? I think that's the only thing that would address that, honorable member.
Your Excellency,
Unless
if I want to observe, if there is going to be relocated, let there be a studies.
Of course, we don't just come and relocate. It's not going to be random.
Currently, if you look at the current reservoir here, where it is linked, you have a lot of compounds there. That is just a bigger community of its own. The entire Sanduso is blocking to that area. So if there could, because where she is talking about from Daro Hairu coming directly up to this way, it's like a distance of 5 kilometers. And if you look at the community is so big that all that areas, this reservoir cannot contain it. So there is an absorption capacity problem here. So, but why not, we have an existing reservoir in that end, where we can try to create a kind of drainage in order to link for that reservoir to absorb that one. And another one is here on the way going to Mandawar, that is Sanchaba N. There is a bigger reservoir there. So if we can create a linkage for that place also to be absorbing, and so 3 of them simultaneously can do, or if there is going to be another one also, there is a forest in that end from both sides of Nyambai. We can also look at that too.
Okay, I think what we'll do is, there will be the road authority, NDMA, the local government people will do a comprehensive study of the area. So that, this is a technical issue. In as much as I appreciate the common sense solutions, let us try to make sure that we technicalize your common sense solutions and see whether they are feasible and viable. Whatever the study tells us, then we deal with that. Okay?
I think that's okay.
All right. Okay. All right.
So we want to stop by Donna.
All right, mbari han kabidram be murmuru nyina kono santem frada birkamale birkamala jam fana dal da me yalon ko komal ba je kan antom tinyaro kala je fana dole komal ba je kan nyamen sante red cross inatale kamol bondi amel yalon ko ile mantoro solo jio nyin kono red cross fante ye bondi kala bagage wol nda ke pak pour que sambar la da me yalon ko ibe safe la wolto komal bola je kan tan nyin tambe ngla tro abi doron komal be je kan nyame nyum jiol me yalon ko nyin tambe ngla wala fundigan molbe sirim bantale mi yalan ko jewdu ndawol la bun kono komal baje kan nyamen dron
Paul Mansal, living in this compound. This place is part of Suba Ward, Birkama Suba Ward. Yeah, the only problem is about this gutter. All the water from Jamisa, Nyambai are all coming through here and then entering from here inside. So that caused this flood inside.
So what kind of help do you need right now?
A lot of help, because one, some of us, our bag of rices are all flooded. Our beds are all flooded down. Some people their backyards are all gone down. You see, so we need a lot of help. Exactly.
Sorry.
Okay, sir.
Da haba nyol anin kumandango be nata nun janne wol fanan safo mole safo tande president wa kafo ko nyin demaro le nyanta kala nyimol la million ko jonata dun ila bunkono dol bungol boyta dol la mirol fanan boyta alsi sabari yalong sama mo bukalong wala na mol ka jio dua jio nema jiola no where's Ibrahim Sila? Where's Ibrahim? You come here, you speak Mandinka more.
Na ila kuma moy. Parnta wala mo doda maloti.
bari amanke nte manke lintango de mbijang nga jamutan ding no mo bele na mo la bari kabiri mansa min tapita na koraja sanji tag atambita wala sango tag boy fole boyo ko buang anun lulo mana plato sa perka na du abe boyta yen samba mangasino to mbije mambala fo sanji nane ntebe mangasino to de ngatara je fego bagazo bebe mangasino to mbe munyarin ntenga mire ndengo mbe fitele ka fo ti yabato manse be ma koila mola kumode ngafo nde lafuta boile bola jankata ikafo kanata de si mangasino to manse be mo abe bondel bari al transo imana di do de nyata fa imandina nte nata sita fo sanji fula nata wili vango wala yake sambar mata ina bungota mfango le wilta nka bloko kose jana bloko ga kose fa siyata ntenga kubasi perka kordalo wala bangu jana kabiri ba lola ibina ale kata ikafo lungkili mol moto sati ko no mo fula anata ko dona abedame dona ya ibe karebe ko lola ji aya tare kelita sati ko dole
mama sani president wala to kina nyino bangola vice president nyino minister works la sai nga ko fola andu dahaba bi janna fana ni be mari disaster la ya ko be tale andu ni dare fana be sile ni president way kacha ya kuye mira kala ya jube be nyin ko nyin régler la
nka wala fo ha ngo sani nte ka men fo dibo bijan na dibo bijan ne man fo ka sitire bari men tam bitan ka wala fo men tam bitan ka wala fo kabiri sanji tanga tam bitade janka boyde bari hani nyata amandunya kafo manjal ya isole wala manja ya dile hani fen nene manja to fo bi kotani bari mbe albulu de ntewo ka mbe albulu de ntewo mbe albulu de
Yes, I will discuss it.
bari nyin kuwa mbeta alma koy
and she has been in fact it has been long overdue.
What I cannot control of the gutter. Initially, before this one, there was a gutter that they built here in the middle of the compound. When the first rain came, the whole built houses fell down. So that is what he's telling you, that when that happened, the whole family relocated to that magazine there.
That's a magazine.
Yes, that store. So he was there for 3 years with the expectation that he'll have an assistant from the government. That never comes, so we built here. So now, this was in 98. 98. No, it was in 98 when the first flood brought down all the houses here. That was in 98. Yes.
So I think the dates matter when you talk about 98. That's during the First Republic, and 2012, the Second Republic. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
The result of all the water that is coming.
Okay.
The water did not have where it will empty, where you come from.
The
It goes, stop there, comes back, so it settles here.
It's part of the engineering work that we are talking about. Yeah, okay. But I mean, never mind the engineering work. Never mind the time perspective, which is 98 to 2012. We are now in 2022. This woman needs help. Sana, this woman needs help. If we can have, even a 3-bedroom, which you can do, huh? Where's finance?
Okay. Finance.
Yes,
Finance.
Yes.
Honorable.
Let's see what we can do. The area council.
Finance.
Yeah.
I think the chairman is all around.
Yeah, where's the chairman of the area council?
Yes, he's around.
Yes.
Whatever you do, whatever you do, however you're going to wangle it, make sure that this woman gets a 3-bedroom house. Please. And not on the waterway. Whatever it is, doesn't make sense. And of course, it happened in the First Republic, the Second Republic. We don't want it to happen in the Third Republic. So whatever you do, area council, governor's office, finance, NDMA, make sure that you get her a 3-bedroom house. That's not much. All right? Please.
Finance
and local government.
Yeah, he's also around.
Look, I mean, you people, where's local government? I want the place designated so that it is not flood prone. You know, where's
I think that has to do a lot
Yes,
with
Daniel is here. This is the son.
Okay.
Daniel is the son.
Now you will work with the chairman of the area council, NDMA, and the governor's office, and we find a place which is not flood prone, and we try to do a 3-bedroom for this old woman. You understand? All right. Now we are now in August. By end of October, the president would come here and would want to know whether that 3-bedroom is built. You understand that? Please, Chairman.
It will be.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Mero.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Tell your mom
Mama,
that we are taking the undertaking to get a 3-bedroom
house. Aning idea mol diamla mol sasi mini alon koy bakela kabo jandin president fond bina jan october abinala ka jube fo wolo tele famal lo sa diamla pour Daniel Star ay ta commandant ya anin area council chairman ya anin disaster mol ya pour ya kacha ya ko nyim topoto ka ko nyim medal budun science sa sabaro ni monota doron ha nga jube ni nata ifana dula jube dula mi yalon ko amantara lorin jiboro silo kan na lota fana jiota affect la e bo dulal fana jubela ya mek so e wallo abarka ba
sabari ya moy ya keto mole ya moy
abarka ni ya jinde ya mola ko metale
metale
tanji tanga nem fen tango tang bongo be boyla abe
bari nyim president ay fengo fem fo aka barale wala na ko nye kontenga na jam saje ninna ministerial si mako resi futema nyame ninta fanta tamba fulale yamoy fonya la konya alsimol mako no nyaaw nyange mako
man sama fendi de
hana bulo sa
tanji tago be
bari nyim man sama ke bo man sa ni man sa
na ko bulo de
yamoy
ngani provision tuje dron ndani Daniel fond bidani yalla na ko nyama
Daniel binala me ka chala
bunken adon tafana kana benna mbaji be kan ko ya defan bina janis watini wat yamoy yalla sonda
Donna, who is also always experiencing these kind of problems, and then she always realize falling houses and stuff like that, and that is what we are here today.
How devastating is this in your area?
This is so devastating, and it is so alarming, and then it is so worrisome also. And then the central government, together with the local government authorities, we are very much aware of it, and we want to stand with our full feet to make sure that we do something to the cries of our people, because it needs intervention. But the people cannot do it alone. I think we need to look at it. Certain times, there are certain man-made disasters. We need to look at where we are supposed to build our houses. This is very important. I think physical planning should also see, before they give a building permit to any other person, they must go and visit the place to know whether it is a prone area or not. But just to issue a building permit like that without even looking at the area, I think that could have caused a lot of problems. And there are a lot of people also who are just building without taking proper precautions and then not even applying for the building permit. This is also contributing to these floodings also.
Seni jogo kodo Njaay ma jogo kodo Alaaji Mustafa Njaay Alaaji Ismaila Njaay baayam Alaaji Mambubu Njaay baayam tubaar fakalla mashallah Ousseynou Njaay maamam Biram Wula Jaañ ak Fatma Wula Jaañ len Fleur Wula Jaañ yaaya ndaw mu Demba Seen aji bàjjen fay nag mooy yaayam mbas ndeene jigéen ak jogoy ndeene jigéen Masamba ndeene jigéen
Atafa Njaay nooy nuyoo
man han loolu Demba Seen Njaay ndaw Demba Seen Biram bu la Njaay ak sa la diggéen bu la Njaay xëy suba di taalal loxo nit si ñàkk a jom la bokk so suma yaay daf daan jaay buróoli ba waaye suma yaay moom daan kat dooleem la woon moom yu bari la daan def daan jaay ayis tamit fi jamee fri
foo doon def
suma xol bi fi mu toll xëy Gambia na la wax dara diplomatic passport businessman man la ko yaay jàmme njëkkaa jox 1998 ma li ma nekk sama xel ak li ma bëgg a liggéey ak fu ma bëgg a toll Gambia bu ma koo may deme ndaw doo ko jox liggéey doo ko jël rek employé ko waaye da ngaa create environment boo xam ne dafa mun a liggéey business tigi da nga am fit loolu ragal waaye nag si njub man Yaya Jammeh rek laa ragaloon moo tax dama ko daan bàyyi xel dama ko daan study comme ni ñoo study book nga sëriñ ñu bari ñoo woowee sëriñ yi lobbyist lañ sëriñ yi téléphone lañ te man bëgg naa boobu tànk.
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonic's money transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.